Good morning class 12 students. So this is your subject physics, and in this lecture I'll be discussing the test solutions of chapter number 11, 12 and 13. So in question number 1 you have to tell out of copper and sodium which one is having high threshold frequency. Okay. So first of all, if some material is having high threshold frequency, that means it will be having higher work function, and higher work function means it will be difficult to remove the electron from it. So therefore, according to the given condition, you can say copper will be having high threshold frequency as compared to sodium. In question number 2, an element lithium is given and you have to calculate energy in the ground state of lithium. Okay, so as you can see, its atomic number is 3. So therefore, its N will be 2, principal quantum number. According to the configuration, so the energy, the general formula of the energy is minus 13.6 Z square upon N square electron volt. So Z square will be 9 and N square will be 4. So when you will solve it, the energy will come to be minus 30.4 electron volts. In question number 3, you have to calculate the ratio of volume of atom to the volume of nucleus. So as you know, radius of atom is 10 to the power minus 10 meters and radius of nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15 meters. So just calculate volume, that is 4 by 3 pi r cube upon 4 by 3 pi r cube. Solve it, the answer will come to be 10 to the power 15. In question number 4, you have to plot a graph between de Broglie wavelength and the potential through which an electron is accelerated. So as you know, lambda is inversely proportional to under root v. This we have calculated in theory lectures. So that means the graph between lambda and under root v will come to be like this. In question number 5, it is given if an electron jumps from n equal to 4 to n equal to 1, then you have to tell maximum number of photons emitted and minimum number. So first of all, if we talk about maximum number, see, the electron can go from 4 to 3, then 3 to 2 and then 2 to 1. So this will be one transition. For second transition from 4 to 1, electron can go directly from 4 to 2, okay, and 2 to 1, which is already taken, so I have not written that here. For third transition, it can go directly from 4 to 1, and for one more transition here, see, it is going from 4 to 3, and instead of going from 3 to 2, it directly goes from 3 to 1. So total there will be 6 transitions possible. So maximum number of photons will be 6 and minimum number will be obviously 1, which will correspond to 4 to 1. In question number 6, you are given threshold frequency to be f. It is given when the frequency of incident light is 2f, the velocity is v1, and when the frequency of incident light is 5f, the velocity is v2. So you have to calculate the ratio v1 upon v2. So here I have just used the formula, that is kinetic energy is equals to h nu minus work function. Similarly here kinetic energy is h nu minus work function. So as you know, phi naught is nothing but hf, so it will be 2hf minus hf, which will give you again hf, and this will be 5hf minus hf, which will give you 4hf. So similarly, and from here when you will divide them, you will get v1 square upon v2 square, that will be hf upon 4hf, that will be 1 by 4. So v1 upon v2 will come to be 1 by 2. In question number 7, it is given an electron jumps from n equal to 1 to n equal to 4 state, and the potential energy in n equal to 1 energy level is given to be minus 13.6 electron volt. So you have to calculate in first part the energy in n equal to 4th level. So as you know, energy is inversely proportional to 1 by n square. So E4 upon E1 will be equal to n1 square upon n4 square. So E4 will be nothing but 1 upon 16, that is n1 square will be 1 and n4 square will be 16 into E1. So answer will come to be minus 0.85 electron volts. Now it is asked how much energy is absorbed in this transition. So according to Bohr's theory, as you know, the energy absorbed will be E4 minus E1, that is minus 0.85 plus 13.6. So answer will come to be 12.75 electron volts. In question number 8, you are given two nuclei, that is of oxygen and chlorine, and their binding energy is given to you, and it is asked which one is more stable. So as you have studied, higher binding energy per nucleon means more stability. So first of all, we will be calculating binding energy per nucleon for both the nuclei. So binding energy per nucleon for oxygen will be 289.3 divided by 16, because it has total number of 16 nucleons. That will give you 18 mega electron volt. Similarly, binding energy per nucleon for chlorine will be 127.35 upon 35, because it has 35 number of nucleons. So it will give you 3.6 mega electron volt. So now as you can clearly see, this value is high, so that means oxygen is more stable as compared to chlorine. In question number 9, it is given, if we go on increasing the wavelength of incident light, then what will be the effect on the number of electrons and their energy? So first of all, if wavelength is increasing, that means E is equals to hc by lambda, that is incident energy is decreasing, right? Now if incident energy of photons is decreasing, because number of photoelectrons emitted does not depend on incident energy, therefore they will remain same, but energy of the photoelectrons will decrease because the energy of incident light is decreasing. So this is the answer. And one more thing you have to mention here, that when you go on increasing wavelength and when it becomes greater than threshold wavelength, then there will be no ejection of photoelectrons, because in that case your energy will be less than work function, and in this case there will be no ejection of photoelectrons. In question number 10, you have to calculate the longest wavelength for Lyman series. So as you know the empirical formula, that is 1 by lambda is equals to r into 1 upon n final square minus 1 upon n initial square. From here, if you will calculate lambda, so that will come to be this only. So now as you know, for Lyman series, n final is always 1. And because we want longest wavelength, so we will be taking shortest transition, that is n initial is equals to 2. So just put the values, that is lambda will be putting the value of r, n final and n initial. So when you will solve it, the value of lambda will come to be either 1212 angstrom, or you can say 1.21 into 10 to the power minus 7 meters. Okay, so in question number 11, you are given a graph between maximum kinetic energy and frequency. And in first part, you have to calculate the work function of the metal. So now as you know, kinetic energy maximum is h nu minus h nu naught. So we know your work function is h nu naught. Okay, so here you can calculate work function by two methods, either by using this formula, or you can say when nu is 0 in this equation, when nu will become 0, kinetic energy maximum will become h nu naught, that is kinetic energy maximum will come equal to work function. So either it is not asked, but still I am telling you, from graph you can say your threshold frequency will be this, that is 3 into 10 to the power 14. This will be plus 14 second inverse. Okay, now we want to calculate work function. So as I told you, when nu is equals to 0, phi naught will be equal to minus of kinetic energy maximum. So phi naught will be equal to minus of minus 2 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. Because as you can see here, at this point nu is 0 and kinetic energy maximum is minus 2 into 10 to the power minus 19. So this will be the value of phi. Because the answer is asked in electron volts, so we will just divide it by the charge of electron. So phi naught will come to be 1.25 electron volts. Okay, so in second part you have to calculate the value of Planck's constant. So as you know, this is the graph between kinetic energy and nu naught, that is your frequency. So slope will be equal to y, that is kinetic energy upon nu naught. If I am taking the point where kinetic energy maximum is h nu naught, as I have told you in first part, so that will be h nu naught upon nu naught. Nu naught will cancel out, so you will get h. That means slope of this graph will give you the value of Planck's constant. So just calculate slope. The answer will come to be 6 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules second. Okay, so last is question number 12, in which it is given a photon of this much wavelength has this much of energy. When the incident light is of this much wavelength and intensity is I, then you have I dash, that is saturation current of this much, and your stopping potential of this much. So in first part you have to tell the work function of the metal. So now, as you know, energy is defined by Hc by lambda. So if I divide E2 by E1, that will be lambda 1 by lambda 2. So E2 I am calling the energy of incident light. Okay. So E2 will be equal to lambda 1 upon lambda 2, that is lambda 1 is 10,000 upon lambda 2 is 5,000 into E1 is given to be 1.23 electron volt. From there, E2 will come to be 2.46 electron volt. That is, energy of incident light is this much. Now, as you know, work function can be defined as E minus kinetic energy maximum. Same by the formula, kinetic energy maximum is h nu minus h nu naught. From that I have written here. So now you know E2 minus, you know kinetic energy maximum. How to calculate kinetic energy maximum? Now you are given stopping potential of 1.36 volt. So as you know, kinetic energy maximum is EV naught. So kinetic energy maximum will become 1.36 electron volts. Okay. So phi naught will come to be 1.1 electron volt. Now in B part it is given, if the incident intensity becomes 4 times, then what will be the effect on the stopping potential and saturation current? So as you know, stopping potential does not depends on the intensity of incident light, so it will remain same, while the photoelectric current will become 4 times of initial value. So the answer will be 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 6 amperes.